All right, the Cleveland Browns have a dude. There's no doubt about that, but it's more impressive than you think. And I'm going to go ahead and say there's now two guys where it's like, yup, they've got the skill. And there are two guys who I think are not only going to make this team, but they have an opportunity, or they may have an opportunity to actually do even more. And the first one is, you know who it is. It's DTR. It's my crush. It's the guy that is doing awesome. And we're going to talk about him and one more player. But first, hit that like button. Give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about DTR. Is he already your no doubt second string quarterback? Or let him start as third string, let him continue to develop and go from there. So leave a comment and subscribe if you haven't already. Be part of what we're doing here at Sports Talk Extra, where we love the little guy. So he was good. It wasn't like he was unbelievable, but here's the thing you have to understand. They came away with an 18-18 tie. When he left the game, they were in the lead. Okay. And the other thing is, the first drive that ended in a fumble could have very easily been a touchdown. So he orchestrated multiple good drives in the quarters that he was in. He went 13 of 25. I'm not saying that's remarkable. All right. 164 yards and a quarterback rating of 72.8. He had his 4 rushes. He was elusive in a pocket, and he helped the Browns on 2 consecutive scoring drives. I think what's impressive to me, and we're going to go look at some other stuff as well. I think what's so impressive to me about him is this second team offense or defense of the Eagles. The second team defense of the Eagles. Have you ever seen more first round draft picks on a second team defense? I mean, it's basically Georgia's national championship team of the last 2 years playing defense for them. And I thought there was a significant talent disparity between the second team on the Eagles and the second team of the Browns. And part of that is because of the Watson contract and what they're having to do in some of the cap strapped. And part of that is because they didn't have early rounds picked because of the Watson trade. So you're starting to see some of the lack of depth there. But you have a guy like DTR who is still flat out balling. He's still flat out balling. And he is not the only one. All right. So, but what I want to talk to you about, we're going to stick on him for just a second, is the difference. So when he was playing against, you could make the argument early on when he was playing against the other team's worst players, when he was playing against third and fourth stringers, that group of guys that aren't even going to probably make an NFL roster, he was dominating in the first 2 preseason games. He came back to life a little bit more in this one, but he was still productive. He was still productive for 164 yards. He still proved he could move a little bit. But here's the thing. Kellen Mond went in against the other team's worst players, and he was even worse. 12 of 24. So you sit here and you're like, all right, Mund wasn't that impressive when he played earlier when he was playing against the second teamers. Well, he wasn't impressive when he was with the third team either. Not only that, but he proved, here's what I loved about what DTR did. He proved that he can be a quarterback to get other wide receivers the ball. Austin Watkins Jr. Who is this guy? Like, let's have a conversation. 7 catches. He was everywhere. He was catching everything when I was watching this game last night. He had a touchdown. What a unique touchdown that was. The bobble catch, falling in, all that good stuff. But he is one of those guys who just continuously gets open. And that's the thing, especially, I mean, in NFL in general, in rookies in general, you don't know. But at the wide receiver position, it's just this position where random UDFAs always seem to flash. They always seem to show something. And it seems like every team that I cover on this channel, Detroit Lions included, Cleveland Browns included, have a wide receiver or a cornerback, those skill positions on the outside that maybe they didn't have the measurables where you thought, yep, NFL, maybe they weren't deep threats as wide receivers. Maybe they didn't have the height as corners, or maybe they didn't have the burning speed. And yet these guys just play well. And a chip on their shoulder. And Austin Watkins Jr. is no different. He doesn't look unbelievably pretty when he's doing it. He doesn't look ridiculously twitchy or twitched up. He is just open. He understands defenses. And this is a guy that I haven't talked about as in depth. I've talked about DTR till the cows come home. But he was drafted in 2021 by the San Francisco 49ers. He's out of UAB. So it's not like he's just a nobody, but it's not like he's a guy where it's just like, yeah, this is the guy, right? Like, this is the guy. And here's the thing. He was drafted in 2021 from the 49ers, but he hasn't played a meaningful NFL snap. He played at UAB. He wasn't even that productive there. In 2019, he had 57 catches for 1,100 yards. That was his best year. 2020 was only 7 games played. If he played 13 or 14 games, he would have probably eclipsed 1,000 yards in that season as well. So, okay, he was decent. I was slightly wrong, but here's what they're saying when you look at the bio. All right. The good on him is that he's a strong physical athlete who excels in contested catch situations. That is true. But he also is able to get open. That's what he's added. The bad was when he was coming out of UAB is that he's not overly creative with what route releases and creating yak plays. But he was getting open. Their bad habit was that he was jumping for passes, making catches more difficult. I think that's hilarious, by the way. Like when I play catch with my 11-year-old daughter, that's why I just don't jump. When I play with my 5-year-old son and they go to catch, they always go to jump and catch. I'm like, don't jump. It doesn't help. And this is a scouting report. See, dad knows what he's talking about, right? But sometimes I do not. So there was a lot of good things that the Browns have put on tape this preseason. There's a lot of good things. I think Cedric Tillman has impressed a little bit as wide receiver. He hasn't been targeted as much as Austin Watkins. Austin Watkins has just become an absolute target monster, which is hilarious. But you have to think to yourself, the wide receivers on this team are Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Those are your starters. And then you have to wonder, is it Cedric Tillman? I think so. Is it David Bell? Very possibly. And it's Austin Watkins. These are the guys. Schwartz was doing some things too. But maybe Schwartz overtakes Bell. I don't know. But that's what you're looking at with this wide receiver room for the Browns. There's some depth there. And Deshaun Watson is a good enough quarterback where good things are going to happen, period. It's just the way it's going to go. So, yeah, I think it's good. I think as you're looking at that room, you're saying to yourself, we have more than enough for our offense to excel in the passing game. And Chubb is going to run the heck out of the ball. So there you go. You got a dude. You've got a baller, 2 of them. DTR is a baller. AWJ, Austin Watkins Jr., that's not like a thing for him. I don't know why I said that. Probably because I said DTR is a thing too. All right, go Browns. We'll see you on the next one.